More than 1 million years ago, there was a being in the Bleach universe with the powers of a god. One who was described as both a devil and a messiah, and as you'll discover at the end of this video, he had the power to command the universe itself.
ようこそ私のソウルソサエティへ。仕方ないっすね。挽回観音開き紅姫改め。
To say that the Soul King sealed in Royal Palace is nothing compared to the Prime Soul King would not be an understatement. According to Ichibei, his limbs were removed and his internal organs scraped out. This was done to remove his power and create a figurehead for the benefit of the ancestors. But even in this limited state with his will reduced to a mere flow, the power which remained was still magnificent. Even the likes of Yuha, who had previously stolen Genryusai's Bankai with ease, would immediately collapse when he attempted to absorb the Soul King's powers. The power became an unstoppable torrent which passed through Yuha's body, even adopting living forms before rushing down to the Serete, power which even the likes of Yuha Baha described as excessive. A magnificent power without which the world could not stand. It was this remaining power which stabilized the Soul Society for the past 1 million years. And following Yuha's death, the remaining power of the Soul King inside him was still sufficient to stabilize the world. Even without limbs or internal organs, he was this powerful. So how powerful would he be in his prime condition? In a reduced state, the Ryo could still see the future and possess the Almighty, which was proof of a true Quincy. He was not only a Quincy but the very source of their power. The Almighty would allow the Ryo to see the future of all things. He could also give and take all powers. Yuha Baha was also going to use the Almighty to examine the future of Ichigo, Rukia, Renji, and Orihime to find their happiest moments, knowing that Soul Reapers can live for thousands of years. This would have granted Yuha the power to see at least thousands of years into the future. Ichibei also hinted that the Soul King might have even seen 1 million years ahead of time. The Almighty would then allow him to understand and then overcome whatever he glances at in the future, the ability to negate all powers. However, his vision is not limited to a single possibility. From high above, he can see multiple futures like grains of sand. And with this vision, its true power is not simply to see the future, but to change it. As a result, even something like death can be completely rewritten, which also means that simpler things like injuries can be completely rewritten as well. With this power, he can reach into the very future itself and destroy your abilities before you can even use them. Furthermore, this includes setting traps for the opponent in the future. And what is perhaps the most terrifying aspect of the Almighty, based on Yuha's explanation, is the power to change timelines. Each grain of sand is a timeline, a future, or a possibility. And changing the future is a simple act of jumping from one grain of sand to the other. Characters like Ichigo can jump from one grain of sand blindly, changing the future with his choices, while Yuha can intervene in all timelines. And as he can see them all, he can choose which timeline to go to, essentially bringing different possibilities, or futures, or forms of the universe into reality. The Prime Soul King would also possess this amazing power. Gerard Valkyrie was revealed to be a manifestation of the Soul King's heart. He had the power to manifest the thoughts and desires of the masses, converting fear into godless sighs, and using the power of hope to reflect all damage, forms of reality warping. The left arm of the Soul King was Pernida, with the power to govern advancement or evolution, cloning itself from tiny pieces of flesh, with the power to absorb information from whatever it touches with its nerves, before using that information to advance itself, even going as far as controlling inorganic substances among other things. It was further revealed in Kanfir Own World that the Fullbringers are born with a piece of the Soul King inside them. This is why Hollows attack their parents in the first place. These fragments function like Hogyokus, turning the feelings of attachment into reality, granting them the power of Fullbring. For example, Oramichibane had the soul chain of the Ryo, and because she didn't have a specific attachment, she had the power to control all matter. Furthermore, a fragment of the Soul King's power could also remove Ichibei's name curse. An ability which could affect things at a conceptual level was nullified by a slither of the Soul King's remaining power. Before the three worlds were created, when they described all of creation as the world, in other words, the universe, the ancestors of the great noble houses used the Soul King's powers to create the three worlds. The worlds, like Soul Society, can have different contexts, as I will explain in my Bleach cosmology video. But in this case, they're referring to all of creation or the universe being separated into different chunks. And to accomplish this, they required the power of a man who had transcended commanded everything. In other words, he was a supreme power in the world. And so with his power, they made the 3 realms or divisions. Additionally, some of these worlds possess different types of matter. The living world is made of Kishi, and the afterlives are made of Reishi, which would require the Ryo to have command over fundamental matter. And as the realms possess their own spacetimes, the Ryo's power would also grant command over spacetime. There are also realms of necessity, like the Dangai Precipice world, which serve as a boundary, a realm which is cut off from the spacetime of the other worlds, in which order is maintained by means of its own logic or reason. Not to mention that the Dangai Precipice world is surrounded by layers and layers of time, and the cleaner can hurl beings through time itself. Additionally, living world characters also perceive that realm as a universe, a domain stated to have distant galaxies, and an ocean of stars can be seen in Soul Society, the other side of that coin. The tilting of the 2 sides together is also portrayed as a tilting of a collective universe. Despite your perception of these realms, note that there can be larger and smaller universes. As in fiction, universes also stretch to infinity. Ichibei, who also possessed the power to see across the universe, added that the Soul King might even be called Night Omniscient, which, like Ichibei, would grant the Soul King cosmic awareness. And despite his power to perceive the wonders of creation, he thought the Soul King could also be called near omnipotent. Eisen, who researched the history of the Soul Society, also added that he wanted to gain Soul King level powers so he could recreate the world, that is, the universe. Furthermore, Tokunada, who read the Confessions of the Noble Ancestors, proclaimed that Ryo level power can destroy and reshape the universe. The story mode of Brave Souls, which is also closely worked on by Kubo and Narita, affirms that this level of power can destroy the universe and shape it according to your will. Future timeline and possibilities manipulation, future sight and comprehension, cosmic awareness, power over matter, space, time, and laws of physics, universal creation and destruction, biology manipulation, power over stillness and evolution, the power to easily negate and surpass conceptual abilities, turning hollows into sand or turning bones into oaken, even bestowing a name upon the one who bestows names, and so much more. The Soul King's power is truly magnificent. He was once the pinnacle of wisdom and power.